Welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I'm your host, Jeannie Hall, and I'm a creative inspiration coach who helps writers reignite their creative sparks. This podcast is here to help you knock down any barriers that stand between you and your dreams. You can do it. Join me. Hello, and welcome to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I'm Jeannie Hall, your host, and this is episode 26. Love is always an option. The inspiration for my podcast today comes from the Life Coach School founder, Brooke Castillo, and I've mentioned her before. She totally changed her own life by changing the fear in her life to love. And I'm now working to follow her beautiful example because I think the changes that she has made in her life are astounding. And I am trying to follow suit because I believe that it can be done. She has set a wonderful example, and so I think we can all follow that example. And love is something human beings, we always crave it. We do. It's what we are literally made of on a spiritual level. So really, it's what we are. It makes sense that we always want it and seek it and find so much joy and pleasure in it because it is who we are. It's what we're made of. And if we're feeling really bad, most likely what we're experiencing is the lack of love. So all the animosity that we see on a day-to-day basis in our world and the issues our world has and experiences, it's ultimately stemming from a lack of love. Or to be more specific about it, by allowing fear to replace love. And when we decide not to trust someone else because they look differently than us, or they behave differently than us, that's all about fear. That is fear talking and taking over where love should be. And when we expect the worst from other people, that's also fear. When we don't do what we really want to do because we think, oh, that might be difficult, that's fear. It's something Brooke calls failing ahead of time. And this is so powerful. We have all these desires in our lives, and most of us have dreams within us, or we have at some point. But many of us never pursued those dreams. We decide, oh, I don't need them. But why? Why did we never pursue them? Because we might fail. And we think that the feeling of failure will ruin us. We're so fearful of it. We think it'll be something that we can't handle. We think failure is this big, horrible thing that we could never, ever deal with. But the thing is, we can handle it. We were created to handle all sorts of emotions, including fear, including failure, including sorrow, including depression, including lack, scarcity, hunger, thirst. Now, those emotions are all there for a reason, and some of them are physical manifestations. Obviously, the thirst and the hunger is an actual physical manifestation to keep us alive. But there's a lot of times that we feel something and it feels yucky to us and we think we can't handle it. One of the biggest ones, of course, would be grief. We just don't think we could handle something like that. But if we're going to live in this world any amount of time, we're going to have to deal with it at some point. And the thing is not to be afraid of feeling that emotion. But because we do tend to fear that, We set ourselves up. We purposely fail ahead of time so we don't have to deal with those feelings, those anxieties, those worries. And our brains make fear fester and morph into this huge, scaly monster we could never hope to defeat. All those fairy tales we hear when we're kids, we all know what that is, and we all fear it. But the thing is, that big scaly monster that we've put in our heads, we've created, that's not the truth. That fear of failure is just an emotion. And if you fail ahead of time, what are you accomplishing? You're not, right? But it leads us to give up that fear of failure. It'll make us give up because it feels safer to give up. It feels less scary to give up if we listen to what our brains want us to believe. So then we just maintain our status quo. We don't grow, we don't improve, and when we reach the end of this life of ours that we've been given, we look back on it with regret. We wish we'd taken more chances in our lives. We wish we'd taken more risk. We wish we tried new things and lived with more gusto. And you'll hear this over and over again from people who talk to the elderly. Most of the time, many of them will say, I wish I'd done this or done that. I always wanted to go to Paris and I never went because I always found a reason not to go. And then if you end up in a nursing home in poor health and you're unable to do something like that, and you're looking back at all the years and decades of your life that you had the ability, you had the power to do it, you just didn't. Imagine how that would feel. Don't you think that's going to feel a lot worse than taking a chance and failing? We make these fears in our heads so much bigger than they have to be, and it ends up keeping us locked and trapped in this one space because our brain is screaming at us, don't try that, it might kill you. Even if all it is a new restaurant or traveling somewhere. I mean, obviously you don't want to travel in a place that's war-torn or, something like that. Don't travel to some place where the volcano's exploding, obviously, but I know some people will, but they like to study things like that, but hopefully there's safety precautions and things like that. I don't recommend doing anything quite that risky, but if all you want to do is visit the Eiffel Tower or the Statue of Liberty and you're not, why? Kind of analyze that within yourself and look at that. Really look at and examine your decision making on that and figure out, am I not doing it because I'm afraid, really? Or am I not doing it because it feels safer to not do it? It's easier to not do it. It is. It's easier to stay exactly where you are doing exactly what you're doing, even if that's just sitting on your couch eating potato chips. But where is that going to get you? Where is that going to get you in the long run? You don't have to experience the kind of regret that I'm talking about in that nursing home Sunday. But you can choose to smother any fear that shows up with love. And you might be saying, geez, Jeannie, that sounds kind of hokey. And it might. But hear me out. Love is the best answer to fear. Love tells fear to shut the hell up. Because if we let fear rule our life, at the end of that life, you will probably feel regret. Let's say you're like I was just a short time ago. Overweight and unhealthy. You know you could make a different choice. with your meals and with your amount of activity and with the food you eat or don't eat. You know you could lose at least some weight, but you can't seem to get motivated to do so, and you blame it on, I can't get motivated. Let me tell you a little secret. Your issue is not about motivation. Your issue, again, is fear. Fear makes you choose to fail ahead of time, just like we mentioned before. And yes, it absolutely is a choice. By failing ahead of time in all these areas of your life, you get to say, well, it wouldn't have worked anyway. I guess I'll just always be this way. Is that what you want? Really? If it is, that's your choice. But if it isn't, if you really do think that you can change and you want to change, you want to grow, then you can. Don't believe that, it wouldn't have worked anyway, because that's a lie. You have no way of knowing that unless you try. And if you at least try and then you fail, at least you know you tried. You put in an effort. And you know what? If you tried and you failed, you grew. You grew as a person. And at the end of your life, you can look back at that and say, you know what? At least I tried. I might not have made what I wanted to make, or I might not have succeeded, but damn it, I tried. And I can always say that. And I'll always have that because I did, instead of regretting that you never even attempted it. Because the thing is, you can do anything you want, any time you want. It is a choice every single second of every single day. It's a choice. It's a choice to keep doing what you've always done, what you're used to doing, or to deviate from that, to do something else. And remember, you are a magnificent, eternal, spiritual being in human form. You are not some tortoise hiding away in its shell, or at least you don't have to be. Failing ahead of time is one of those Jedi mind tricks that keeps us from success. But you're not some weak-minded stormtrooper, are you? I don't think you are. This is what I think you are. I think you are a gift to this world. I think we all are. We are all here to make a difference. We are all here to love and to live. So don't let fear keep you from doing that. Don't let fear make you forget who you really are. So when fear shows up and it makes you want to fail ahead of time, take a deep breath and tell yourself, I feel the love of the universe filling me. Or tell yourself, I am one with the universe. Or tell yourself, I am one with God. Or tell yourself, I am connected and supported by the creative source. Whatever you call that higher power doesn't matter. What matters is that you realize who you really are. And that you realize you are always, 100% of the time, loved. Always. You are so, so loved by the universe, by God, by that higher power. And all the good feelings in this world that we're all craving so, so much, they all come from love. That's where they originate. And you know what else? One of the best places love can come from is from yourself. When you learn to love who you are everything becomes easier, and I do mean everything. And it becomes better because it's the answer to so much. It may be the answer to everything. Let me explain. Someone might say something or do something hurtful to you, or maybe they're just rude to you. And you might normally respond in any number of ways. You might feel angry or feel hurt. You might feel less confident because of that interaction. Maybe it even makes you feel less worthy as a person of whatever good it is that you want in this world. But if you answer that by loving yourself and reinforcing that love, what that other person did or said, suddenly it doesn't matter anymore. In fact, it may not matter at all, ever again. This is what I want you to try to do. Picture a perfect, beautiful version of yourself that is made of pure light and pure love. And picture that beautiful entity giving you a hug with a genuine smile on her face or his face. Hear him or her saying, "It's okay. I love you." Every time something bad happens in your day, in your day-to-day life, picture that gorgeous, miraculous being embracing you and saying, "It's okay. I love you." I want you to try this for real. Say a car pulls out in front of you. "It's okay. I love you." Your boss yells at you. "Don't fret. It's okay. I love you." You come down with the really severe case of the flu. "It's okay. I love you." Your kid failed math. "It's okay. I love you." Your boss tells you, "We can't afford to give you a raise this year." "It's okay. I love you." "Why can't you ever do anything right?" "It's okay. I love you." Notice that we are not saying "it's okay, I love you" to the people who are saying these negative things to us. We're not saying it to the people who are doing these negative things to us. We're saying it to ourselves. Because loving ourselves is the most important thing. And society does not teach us this. Society teaches us all sorts of other weird crap that has no bearing on helping us to be more confident, to be more secure, to feel worthy and valued, to feel love in our lives. That's not what society brings us a lot of the time. Maybe for you, you have been fortunate enough and blessed enough that you were taught that. But many of us were not. And if you can learn to tell yourself, to love yourself, to always tell yourself, "It's okay, I love you," you're talking to you. Your spiritual being is talking to your physical self. If you can learn to do that and do it on a regular, consistent basis, everything will change for you for the better. Because love is always an option. Loving yourself is always an option. And I think it's the best option. It's a hell of a lot better than going and doing something dangerous like using drugs, let's say. It's a hell of a lot better than going and getting drunk. It's a hell of a lot better than gorging yourself on food when you're not even hungry. It's a hell of a lot better than beating yourself up all the time. By loving yourself, you'll give yourself more confidence. You'll make yourself feel more worthy. It'll make you care more about your body and your mind and your soul. I recently went through a plateau of where my weight just stayed. I'd lost 43 pounds, as many of you know who listen, but I hadn't lost anything more. And the last doctor visit I had back in the summer, he was like, well, it looks like you've plateaued, so something needs to change. And so what I decided to do is I decided to focus on loving myself more. And I did something similar to what I'm telling you guys. Every time I started to picture, whether it was a positive thing or a negative thing in my life, I just pictured this beautiful spiritual version of myself, this gorgeous angelic being, basically, that was actually me, hugging my physical self. In my case, I pictured her hugging me from behind, like a sister would do. So I pictured her hugging like the back of my head and telling me, I love you. And that has been so powerful for me that I've been able to totally change what I eat, how much I eat, when I eat. Like I cut myself off from eating after 7 p.m. because I knew that was making a difference. And now I know, even though I haven't been to the doctor yet to weigh, I know I've lost weight because I can feel it. And the way I've lost weight is not the traditional way. Granted, I made the decision to exercise more and eat less and to change the way I was eating. I didn't make that decision based on willpower. I made that decision based on loving myself. I love myself so much that I'm worth losing that other weight that's still on my body right now. I decided that I love my body and I want to keep it around. I want to keep me around for a long time because I'm worth it. And I realized that because I love myself enough to realize it. And a lot of you out there don't love yourselves enough. Very few of us, I would say, love ourselves enough in this life. It's because we don't realize who we really are. We don't realize that we're these spiritual beings, blessed and gorgeous and perfect as is. And that includes extra weight. I'm changing my body because I want it to be healthy and last for a long time. And I want to feel good. I'm tired of feeling bad. And before I lost this weight, I felt shitty a lot of the time. And I decided, because I love myself, that I wasn't going to feel that way anymore. I wasn't going to suffer acid reflux every time I laid down to go to bed because of my weight and because I was eating crap late at night. So that's why I made the decision. It's not even, am I doing the weight and exercise, or I'm sorry, the exercise and the workout and the dietary changes? Yes. But the difference is the reason behind it. The reason I'm making those changes is because I love myself enough to do so. And I got to tell you, I used to be a people pleaser. I wanted everyone to always be happy around me at all times. And I would do whatever I could to gain their approval and to make them happy, even to my own detriment. So now, do I need their approval? Do I need to please them all the time? No, because I love myself. I need my own approval, but that's it. I don't have to go after the approval of others because I have my own now. I don't have to seek appreciation from other people, even though it's nice. But I don't need it now because I appreciate myself, because I love myself now. I don't have to look for other people to be proud of me because I'm proud of myself now, because I love myself. I've taught myself how to be all the things I need, that I used to need from other people. I now get it from myself. And does that mean that I've gone off on my own and I have no good relationships in my life? No, quite the opposite. My marriage is beautiful and stronger than ever. My relationships with my family and friends are gorgeous and wonderful. But I don't need to go to them for something I can give myself. And by giving it to myself, it just makes me more loving and more generous and happier. And everybody wants to be around that. Everybody, when there's someone that is happy and light and funny and enjoyable to be around, we're all drawn to them, right? That's why. It's a joy to be around them. They're not a downer. They're not going to bring you down. They're not going to say something to upset you. They're going to only bring light into the room. So I've decided I want to be that person. And you can be that person for yourself, and if you choose, for others too. Why? Because love is always an option. Am I perfect at this? Hell no. Of course not. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm sure I always will be. And does it still feel good when I get positive responses and nice things said? I'm not going to lie. Of course it does. It feels awesome to still get other people's approval and appreciation, other people's love, other people's respect, other people to say they're proud of me. That's awesome, and it still feels wonderful. But what I have learned is from loving myself and giving all those good things to myself first, I'm fine if they don't. So if I never get anybody else's approval or appreciation, if no one else ever is proud of me, that's okay, because I'm proud of myself. Because I learned how to love myself. So basically, I no longer need other people's approval and other people's judgments of me to be positive for my own sense of well-being and my own happiness. Because all that happiness and all that sense of well-being comes from me. And you'll have to remind yourself at first to do this. You'll have to be in different situations and then go, oh, that's right. It's okay. I love you. It'll take some time. It took me some time. I'm sure it will for you too. But eventually you'll get to where it's an automatic response. Someone wants to start a fight with you. It's okay. I love you. Someone wants to do whatever, right? Bad things might happen in the world. You're your own comfort. You provide your own love first. And then I guarantee other people will be drawn to you. So if that's what you're needing in your life, if that's what you want, if you want a romantic partner, if you want friends and more family around you, if you want whatever it is, that will draw them to you, because everybody is drawn to those kind of people. Everybody is, just naturally. Everything will become better, and you'll see a lot more magic and miracles in your life. Work will be better. Relationships will be better. Your creativity will improve. You'll feel more inspired in general. You'll feel more abundant. You'll feel less lonely, and you'll feel a lot more supported. And when the time comes for you to take a chance on yourself and pursue your dreams, you'll actually be ready to do it, because you've been priming yourself all along to take that leap. So when love is your constant companion rather than fear, which is most of our constant companions, every door starts to open for you. All of them, not just one. Not one closes, another opens. No, they're all open. They're all open, baby. You just pick which one you want. The world becomes kinder and better. So remember to keep the option of love on the table. And when you have a choice to pick up either fear or love, you'll know which one to grab and take with you. I hope this helped, guys. Have a wonderful day, week, month, and year. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I appreciate every download and every person who has subscribed. I release new episodes every Wednesday and Saturday, so if you enjoy this content, please consider leaving a review. The more reviews fledgling shows like mine receive, the more visible it becomes on the various podcast stations. Each review helps, so if you enjoy what I've been sharing, please help others find this show by leaving a brief review. Thanks again for listening.